Let me introduce myself first, right? So my name is Michael. I'm the co-founder of the Testomatio, which is next generation test management system for automated test first approach. And also I'm the CEO and the founder of the Zappel Tech, which is a company that is providing automated testing services and consulting for startups and enterprises. And I've been working in this IT area and test automation for over 15 years. So I do have experience in a different, I would say, dozens of the projects. So, and today I would like to share my vision ideology on the test management, how it should look like for test management. If you would like to connect with me, so it's just better to do through the LinkedIn. That is the link to my LinkedIn, so you can look through my profile and give the connection to it, and then we can talk over if you would like, and if you have some questions to me. Right, fine. So today I would like to talk about the how to manage automated test cases effectively by the test management system. So nowadays we see that, so it's just difficult to do in a different project. So it seems like we have the 21st century and everything should be modern and should be done one kind of in one click, but it's not like this. So because so nowadays we see that automated tests still they just isolated, is just separated, differentiated, that is not synchronized with manual testing, and manual testing stands separated. So usually test automation just live as dedicated teams, and they do the test implementation. They don't have too much relations and correlation to the descriptions stay outdated and so on and so forth. So so it's kind of two different worlds where the development lives, the manual testing lives, and the test automation lives. So, and unfortunately, so we see that that the biggest problem nowadays, so the automated test cases, they are not integral part of the QA process. So when I say that when it should be integral part of the QA process, it means that so everything should be well tied, integrated between. So if you have the manual testing, and if you have the development, and then you have the test automation, then everything then everything that should be highly integrated between. So if you have the manual test cases created for some user story, and then user story should be covered by some acceptance criteria, that it should be appeared in the test automation just you have these requirements. And once you have the implementation in place, it should go back to the manual testing and to your user requirements or user stories. So so it should be kind of in a circle done, but nowadays it's just done differently. So as you may see now, there are a lot of different test management tools on the market. Kind of the most popular is TestRail or Zephyr or any other, right? So but they are following the same kind of strategies. They're following the manual testing first approach. So even TestRails or any other these test management systems, they're created kind of in 2008 2010. So so it's kind of 10 years already. So they're following the previous the methodology, why you need to create the manual testing first, then somehow it should be passed to the test automation, but test automation doesn't have too much integration. If it's integration in place, it should be done someone by some custom models or by some extensions. So QA, not usually on non-technical persons that don't have knowledge in test automation, they can't contribute to the process, because this system just from the scratch they built with manual testing first approach. But nowadays we see that we have different paradigms, right? So the shift left and shift right, and nowadays the more and more companies come to the shift left approach. When that means that your intention and your planning and everything, you know, so you do with the QA should go to the planning stage, where you do the planning of your build, where you need to already make some changes to your test, and then you need to release quickly, and then you would need to cover these releases quickly from the start of the sprint or from the start of the release, right? So we call it the test automation first approach. So that means that we would need to go and, you know, to cover as much as we can from the start. So during this kind of process of the covering of the shift left approach, the automation QA challenges different problems, I would say. So it's just kind of the top of the iceberg, but, you know, so from the start it's that you don't know what to automate, the coverage is unclear, so you have ambiguous test description, or it's outdated, you know. When you have some regression automated test cases, then it's just became the failed because the application is frequently changed, or you have the application misbehavior and so on and so forth. So there are different, you know, and lots of different challenges that QA should fix during the way, you know. So but the test management system doesn't help here a lot, I would say. So currently we see that the teams just started to make this processes. They're doing this in different teams in different locations. There is no kind of one single source of truth where you can come and see that this automation is or manual testing is managed properly. So I would say, so nowadays test management tools should focus more on the process, but not the integration and tools. So it should be simple, it should be accessible to whole team. There should be native integration in one click with CI/CD options, with collaboration requirements that will give you the better, I would say, common ownership of your manual testing and test automation with common understanding. So I would like just to give the introduction to the test management system we are doing. So based on our experience on the dozens of the projects, so that's called the Testomatio. So we, from the scratch, we build this with intention to build the test management system that has test automation first approach. We support nowadays the popular test automation frameworks like Cypress, or maybe, you know, the Playwright, Codesub.js, and Jest, or WebDriver.io, and so on and so forth, right? So the modern test automation frameworks supported out of the box in one click, so without any kind of extensions and customization from your side. So I just would like to give you more practical way to show you how it should be done. So I guess it's just a few slides and we will start doing some demo. I just don't want to show you too much slides, but what I see and how the ideal, the QA and AQA collaboration flow should be, where you can kind of the automated import from the source code should be done in one click to test management systems. Then you should easily organize your manual testing with some branches, steps, and snippets that is correlate to some manual test cases. Then you can easily trace where you have the manual test cases and what should be converted into the automated test cases, and it should be done in some automated way. So of course it should be integrated with some project tools, kind of CI/CD, and with ticket management like Jira. And when you execute your results, you have the different kind of capabilities to merge your results, to rerun the failed test cases, to track the flaky test cases, slow test cases, living documentation, and more important stuff. So it should be done both for AQA, for development, and for even for non-technical persons. So I just better to do one demonstration rather than to do, you know, the 1000 of the slides. So let's create the single workplace for your manual and automated test cases based on the Testomatio. So here I will switch 1 second. I will switch to Testomat. So here, right. So what I will be doing here. So on a Testomat side, so everyone who is interested in the system, so you can go by yourself, go to Testomat.io, and here you can sign up by yourself, and then you will have access. You have for the users, you have free accounts, so you can try everything I will be showing you by yourself. So when you go inside, so you will see the dashboard, and on the dashboard, so we will create a new project. So the important notice that I will be showing you, so based on the examples. By the way, so I know that there are a lot of beginners here. So if you would like to check how the different test automation look like for the different frameworks, we do have the publicly available examples of the projects. For example, on CodeSap.js, on the Cypress with BDD, or CodeSap.js with BDD, with Playwright, Test Cafe, WebDriver.io, and so on and so forth. So one of this project I will be showing you, so we can choose. So I guess so we can. By the way, I have a question. So what test automation frameworks are you using right now? So please write down to the chat. I will check it later. And what programming languages are you use to your test automation if you are using, right? So if you are a beginner or you are not using, just state that you don't use the test automation, but you would like to use, right? Okay, so here we have one project that is CodeSap.js. So Ahmed just before me just showed the different, the tips and tricks, how it's used, so in how the best practices is. So and here I would like to use this project here. That's the project I do have already on my local box, right? This project. So we have real life test cases here, so which we will execute with you. So and here I already have it on my laptop. So let's just get started and make one test management system that will be single source of truth for your manual test cases and for your test automation. Let's just create a new project. Okay, Ankara testing days, let it be, right? So, and then we have the fully empty project, right? So now you may see that you would need to organize your test cases as one single workplace, right? So what you would need to do, you would need to put all your test cases. So if you have the manual test cases here from your checklist, from your Excel spreadsheets, so from different other sources, Confluence or any other, right, into one system. And then from another side, you should put here also the test management source code. So it should be done somehow automatically, right? So if you do have both of this world, so it's now let's just start to make this done. So let's first go and import the source code if you have it to the test management. We will go and import. So as you may see, we support different frameworks. I will choose the CodeSap.js, but you can choose here the Cypress or WebDriver.io or Jest or any other, right? And then I will choose, for example, the JavaScript. Also, we support the BDD a lot. We have a lot of different advanced features for BDD, but I will show you at the end if you're interested in. So I will show you the classical way. So we're generating you some special command. The special command that is generated specifically for this programming language and this framework. And then what you should do just to send your automated test cases to the test management system, just copy this line, go to your test cases, and then we would need just to execute this command, and it's all. This command will go and introspect all your test cases that you have, right? We will see that we have some test cases in our source code, and all these test cases are sent to test management system. So as you may see, no need to make any extension, any customization to your test automation code to make this integration. It's done out of the box. The same we have for the Cypress or just over WebDriver.io. So and here now you can see, so we have the automated test cases outlined in test management system. Yeah, it's as easy as just executing one command. As you may see, you will have the implementation. Here we have may have supplementary information like attachments, the history changes, and so on and so forth, right? So let's just now create the manual test cases. So we synchronized the automated test cases, and we have it here. So the same structure. So let me just open it. So the same structure as you may see. So here we have to do MVC, right? And inside of it, we have the different files, right? And one files has different test cases. The same structure we have here. So one folder, one file, and in one file you have a different test cases. So as easy as it is. What we can do next, so let's just add the manual test cases. So we can call it, for example, the home page testing. So we will create the test suite, and here we can do we can create the simple test cases, kind of check Visa payment, something like this, or check MasterCard, you know. So it should be done as easily as it is. You just need to type just one test case, or 2 or 3, or even more, I would say. So if you have the planning stage, a grooming stage, right? So you may create the checklist or notes of the different test cases that you would need to create in test management system. So what you can do, so you can just copy the list. We have a special bulk mode for creation. We can just paste this list. It can be 20, 30, or, you know, so even more. So the test cases, so it's just one line will be one test case, and then we will create a lot of different test cases just quickly in 1 second. So we have with our team intention to make this system as simple as possible with less clicks as possible, as you may see, right? So if you see that we have created already some test cases here, so then we can come and go to describe these test cases. So we can go inside of it, and then we can go and describe, for example, that we open some page, then we fill some data on the page, right? Then we see some text is present, and before we can click on something, right? So as you may see, we have this auto completion done, right? So then this auto completion done, and then that is specially done from the steps database that we have. So if we understand that we would need to add some screenshots here, so we can save it. So we can just copy and paste from the buffer if I have something, right? So we can just save it, and we see how this looks like. So as simple as it is, right? So here, as you may see, we have added the description. We can go and we can delete this, and so on and so forth. So, right. Okay, let me just check that we have, right. Yeah, we have a description. We have them. So from one side, you have the manual test cases, and from another side, you have the automation test cases. So what we can do with this, right? So the first one, if you have the manual test cases, and then you have describe it, right? So then the first step to the test automation, so to easy go and to do some actions. So we already generated to you some code templates. So what you would need to do, you just need to go and implement these test cases. All the description that was done by the manual QA here is just automatically put it in a code template. All you need to do, so the manual QA describe the behavior of the application, and the test automation engineer just go and implement this. So if it's implemented, then it will become the manual test case will become the automated. So it's just easily as it is. So let's go and go to some code. We will open the one of the test suite that we have here, right? So that we will need to implement this test case. Let's assume I will implement it, but we will put the placeholder. So we have a special ID, right, which is generated for this test case. And then all we need to do, so we just need to go here. So, and then we would need to synchronize our test cases again. So let's just go and check. Okay, everything is done. We will see that now 1+1 test case is added. So let's just add and open this test case, and you may see now this test case is automated because we have this code which is present on our test automation repository, but it's now automatically synchronized. So this synchronization usually is done from the continuous integration. Right, so in this way, so you can describe your manual test cases, right? So let's go and just describe one more test case like this, right? So we will describe it. So we have some kind of description. So as you may see, we are just following nice way to have described the test cases in Markdown. Then we have the template. Then you would need to generate this and implement this code, right? And then once it's converted to the automated, then you synchronize your code, right? Then you may have the kind of the supplementary information like documentation, video, or screenshots. And then also if you do some changes to your test cases, some kind of this one, so we will write all the history so you can go and check what exactly was changed, right? So the AQA can come and see what exactly was changed and so on and so forth. So yeah, that is the manual testing. So, but if you already have the automation in place, so you can also add the description also to the test automation implementation. So that's purely test automation code, right? And there is no any description here. So if non-technical person can come, they I'm not quite sure they will understand what exactly is done here, right? So they may try to understand, but it's not. So then they can come, the manual key can contribute also to this, right? So here we also can just add some description, right? Something like this. And then we have at the same place, as you may see, we have a description that is human readable description, right? So for the manual key or non-technical persons, and from another side, you have the implementation of your code, right? And if you have some other information like files or requirements or screenshots, then you have the kind of this supplementary information and so on and so forth. So you can define the priority that is critical and something like this, and you can assign to someone just to execute it, right? So from this point of view, we see that, okay, so description is added, and that can be used by the manual and automation team at the same time. What does it mean? So we have the possibility in task management system to execute automated test cases manually. So if you have the code and it's working fine, that is cool. So it's executed and then you have the results. But if you don't have the kind of the application is changed, for example, right? So or it's broken, or test automation kind of is broken, and you need to test it, but you don't have time to fix it. So you have a description. So, and then even non-technical person can execute this automated test case manually because you have the description. I will show you in a second. So by this way, you have from one side, you have the automation in one place, and from another side, you have the manual testing, right? So let's go and then do execution, right? So let's see and visualize what test cases do we have. So to make the execution and reporting done easily, so we already created some reporter. Reporter should be installed quickly. Just we would need to go and execute this. It's already done on my side, right? Then you would need to add the configuration settings. Just only once you would need to add these configuration settings. So on the concept.js, it just looks like this. On the Cypress or WebDriver.io, it will be another instructions, but it should be done only just once. And next, you can execute this easily, so without kind of any other customization. So you just need to execute this test cases as usual, but with API key for this project, and then all the test cases will flow to the Testomatio. Let me just execute this. So test cases has been started, as you may see. And we can go inside and we can see that is done, and that is automatically done in real time. So you don't need to wait until the end, because, you know, so if you have really long execution, so you don't need to wait until the end. You can see, okay, something is failed, then you can click on it and check, okay, so we have some stack trace. So we have the what exact steps was executed, you know. So you have the description, then you have the screenshots. Also, we can record the videos here. So at the same time, you have at one place some attachments if you have added, and the code of this test case. So the results is here, so we can just filter the results. We see, okay, so we have 9 test cases failed. We can go to the detailed report. So we have the structure of your test cases, so the tree. You can filter the test cases, right? So we don't need to just to take a look to some successful test cases, right? So, but we would just need to go through some test cases which has failed. Then you have the execution here. You have some stack trace, right? So you can check what exactly was failed and why. So if you're a technical person, you will understand it. So, but if not, so you can read. So here it may be a description, right? It may be a description. Also, it can be the code or some information with requirements. You can check the screenshots. Even you can check the video, right? So what exactly was, you know, so tested. So then you have the knowledge, right, what exactly was doing in this test case. And then based on this information, you just go and look through, right? So look through to understand. So if you have some failures, if you have some defects, then you would need to do and create some defects in your ticket management system. So from this side, so that is the automated execution. Let me execute more test cases. So from another side, it should be also one place also for the manual execution, right? So because we are creating the single workspace, so on this side, we will create we have the manual test cases. We will launch all our test cases that we have the manual here, and you may see from the left hand side that we have the manual test cases, and on the right hand side we should mark these test cases passed, failed, or add any test failures, so on and so forth. So you have your description, right? For example, here the manual key describe it, so we can pass this and we can mark this as failed, this as skipped. These 2 test cases, let's assume that it's just redundant, you don't need it, we can remove it in real time, so it's done easily for your purpose. And then, you know, so we can mark this by keyboard shortcut, something like this. So we will mark everything as with test results, right? So, and then we have our test result, which is manual test execution, right? So, and then we have the single workspace that will outline the test automation in one nice report, so you can take a look, right? And also you have the manual execution, you can also take a look. So let me also add more. So, and now let's assume that your manager or stakeholders come and say, we would need to have one report from automation and the manual. So we would like this to present to our management team to make a decision about the release. So then you can come, for example, here, and you can merge these results just easily, right? So the automation results and the manual results into one test report. And here you may see that we have the test automation, that is test automation, and here the manual execution. Everything in one place, right? So the automation result is present here, and the manual results is present here, right? So even more, I would say. So meanwhile, I will be creating more and more test data, so we have it in our test management system. So we have really nice also nice way to create test plan. So let me just create the test plan that will execute the manual test cases So not only manual test cases. So for example, here we have a tags like tags for each test cases. We can choose some test cases by some tags. Example, it's task. I will put it, and all the test cases with tag task will be selected. But you see that one test case, for example, the automated test case is or 2 or 3, so they are actually failed, and you don't have time, right, to fix it, and you would need to execute it right now, right? So you may take the automated test cases, which is created by the test automation team, and then if you have the descriptions inside of it, right, so you will see the description. If you don't have description, you will see the test implementation of the code, and we will include in automated test cases to test plan. So we will save it. We will call it, for example, smoke tests, right? So we have, as you may see, so that is the common test plan where you have the manual test cases and automated, right? So but here we will go, and you may see that's the automation test case, right? So we have in automation test case, we have a description, then these descriptions is outlined here, so you can execute these results, right? So but here you may see that description is not present, so some non-technical person or manual QA just didn't contribute to the automation, right? And then we just see the implementation of this test case. So here you may see that, okay, so something should be done, and you may understand what need to do or may not, but at least you can execute this test case, and then you can do the same with other, right? So, and then we will finish it. So the automated test cases can be executed manually really easily. Even more so if you have the cross-browser testing, for example. So you may run your test case on Chrome, for example, on Firefox, on Safari, something like this, right? So, and then you can launch all these test cases just in 3 different environments. So as you may see, we have now 3 executions. So if you have 3 environments in place, so you can easily execute one test case for different environments and then go to another, right? So we can mark this. For Chrome, it's fine. For Firefox, it's not. For Safari, it's not. And then you should go for each of these test cases, something like this, right? So I just will be putting some data, something like this, right? So, and then once it's finished, then we have the results, right? And we can see that for Safari, it's kind of on the middle, so it stayed on the Firefox. So the worst cases, I would say, a lot of failures here, and on Chrome, it's working much better. So if you're interested about the results, you can go inside of it and check it. Okay, so yeah, so we have different results. We visualized, we have the single workspace here. So, right, so the manual test cases organized, and then automated test cases organized, and then it can be executed both manual and automation at the same time, right? So what we can also provide you here, so based on the results, if you have it, so you can add the continuous integration. So continuous integration should also be done easily in one click. I will just open another project where this already configured. If you go to the settings on the continuous integration, here you may connect different continuous integration easily. So it's Bamboo, GitLab, GitHub, Jenkins, Circle, OCI, and so on and so forth. So for example, here the GitHub. So already on our side, I already have configured on our side. So it just should be done only just once. You would need to put some credentials and configure this. You can do this by yourself, or you can just so ask us any questions here. So if you're frustrated, but it just easily can be connected. So you just need to generate the different API tokens, put the data, and you are done. Then on the continuous integration side, the job should be configured, and if it's configured, then you have the nice options here. You may see now we have the run in CI option. So non-technical person from test management system, if it's synchronized to test management, they just can come here, press one button, right? And then it's just all, right? So the test automation has been started. So no need to have access to any kind of continuous integration system different, right? So then you have this capability to execute one test case, the whole test suite, or the all test cases that you have, automated test cases synchronized to test management. So if we will click on this schedule run, we will see, okay, some test cases already set up in here. So its job on continuous integration just has been started, and in some time we will have the results flowing back once it's configured, everything is installed and executed, right? Even more, I would say I do have a lot of different already executions, right? For example, let's just take this one, right? We have two executions, right? Two executions. So if you have continuous integration integrated, so the manual QA can contribute to the results. So they can just come and see, okay, so this test automation is failed. They can come here and they just see, okay, there is some stake trace failures and so on and so forth, but they don't understand it. So what they can do, they just can come, if continuous integration is configured, you can go and relaunch these test cases in continuous integration. So there is two ways to actually retest this. So you can relaunch the failed test cases. It's only two test cases in CI. So we will click on it. So the simple interface, just to show what profiles you would like to choose, and then launch. That's all. So new job should be created for these two executions. That's the first one option. And another option here is just go and relaunch these test cases manually. So it was automated executions, two test cases were failed, right? So then you would need to do something with this. You would need to check if it's truly defect or no. So the first you can re-execute this just to be sure it's not flaky test cases, right? And from another side, if you see that application have some misbehavior, for example, so you can relaunch these test cases, so manually. As you may see, it was test automation execution, but all the execution data is already put it here. So this failed test case is already loaded with the data and stack trace. So you can just go recheck it, and then you can mark this as a passed. So, and we have another failed test case, and this test case already have some description, as you may see. So we can just go through and check it manually, right? So then we will mark this as a passed, and then we will finish the test results, and we have done. You see, so this execution is totally fine. Yeah, from test automation perspective, it was not ideal, right? Because there was two failures, and maybe it was because of the application misbehavior, or it was based on the flakiness of the test case, right? But here you can go and fix it quickly, because the QA is about the processes and not about the technical issues that you have maybe right in your test automation code, right? Or maybe in some misbehavior, or so you may need to have it quickly somehow, right? So that can be done, right? So that is the test integration, and also we have nice integration with, for example, with Jira test management, for example, on Jira test management side. So you can add the Jira here, right? So once you will add the profile, right? So to profile to your project, then all the test cases that you have can be linked to some user story. So we have test suite here, right? So you may see on the top right corner, so that is linked to the Jira. Let's click on it and we will see the user story. here, the user story, we can see that, for example, that there is user story, some requirements defined here, and here you may see that is linked test case, right? Test case to this user story. So you can check what test cases here is linked, what the statuses of these test cases, latest 5 statuses, and even more, you can check the internals of this test case, right? So for example, here, so you can check, let me just log in to this application. Right, and then let's just open this one test case, filter by size, right? So filter by size, and then we will see, okay, so there are kind of 4 steps here, right? So then we can go from the Jira, we can go inside, and then we can add some steps, right? So for example, okay, so at long run, it was already, okay, that is the 1 step, okay, added, and you may see now it's already 5 steps, right? So it's from another side. Let's go and create a new step for Jira, right? So then we will create it, right? And then let's go and find this test case. Let's go and see that, voila, so new step is added. So so it's really advanced functionality that we have on a Jira side. So and then once you have linked your test cases, you can link this through the 3 dots and then link the Jira item by the ticket ID. You can link some specific test suite, whole test suite, and whole test cases to one user story, or you can link some particular one test case, right, to the test to the user story, and then you have the results here and test cases outlined for this user story. So once it's done, you may check the coverage report. So the user stories that you have, right? So on the user story, you can see all the linked test cases. So for example, here you may see that here we have 4 test cases automated and 1 is manual. You can see the latest execution results. The execution results go through your continuous integration to the test management, and from test management, automatically it goes to the ticket management here, right? And then if we see that, okay, you have 5 test cases and all is fine and all is passed, so then it's passed. And if at least 1 is failed, then we will show you, okay, this user story is failed, right? And then we will show you that the coverage, for example, here it's kind of it's coverage 80%, right? But here it's just totally uncovered by automated test cases. So regarding the coverage, let me just go back and show you regarding the coverage. So we have the analytics to understand it. So you go to analytics, and the simple way you see, so to track it here. So let me just move one test case to test automation. For example, that is one here, right? So we will move it. So go to the analytics and we will check that, okay. So yeah, so the test suite that we have, one test suite which is not fully covered, right? So we have another 4 which is fully covered, and one test case, one test suite which is covered on 91%, right? So by this coverage, you can check so what should be covered and where you should put your focus, right? So here this test suite is not fully covered, so you would need to do something about it, right? So that's the benefit why you have everything in one place, so you can track this coverage. So if you have and create some defects, and these defects can be created from the test plans here, as you may see. So hold on a second. I will go to the report, right? So yeah, for example, here, oh no, let me just check if we do have the Jira integration. Oh no, so that's not, it's not that project. Fine then, yeah. So let's just go and see. We have some failures And if you have some failures, and if you have ticket management added to the test management, then you have this capability to link and create the defect just from the test management system. And you can just create from here, and then it will go and automatically will link to your user stories here. So that's the regarding the Jira. So you have a different actually analytics. So you can check the, for example, that test cases that were not executed at all, right? Or if you have the flaky test cases, you may check why it was flaky. So you may define the period you would like to check why it was flaky test case. You can check the most slowest test cases that which need to be speed up, and so on and so forth. So yeah, so and so on and so forth. So even more, I would say, so a couple of the features, which is, so we have a lot of different features. I don't have time to show it all, but I just would like to emphasize just a little bit a few features. So when you describe your test cases, so for example, here you may see that we have this auto completion done. As you may see, that is done from the steps database. We have a steps database which is centrally created. You can describe all the test cases, unambiguous languages and unambiguous steps that is used for all your test cases to test your application. And then all the test team and QA and development will use the same descriptions. So because it will be done through the auto completion, you go here, and then you type it, and then, for example, you can type task, and then you have narrow this list of the steps that should be used for your test cases, right? Something like this. So yeah, and you can create it, and even more. So if you have different steps and you would need to follow this, for example, this repeating and edit these steps over and over again, so you can add the snippets. So for example, you can create the snippet, for example, the precondition, right? You can add that you open some application, you click on something, right? And then you do something, right? So something like this, that is a precondition you can use or you should use for all your description of your test cases. Then we can go to test automation, something like this. Here we would like to add the description. We can go and put the snippet here, so the precondition, and you may see that all the steps just immediately created here. So as simple as it is, so just have it here. And you may see, for example, we have added one description to test automation. So we treat the test automation done correctly, but if description is added, we're showing you, okay, this test case is out of sync, something is added. So we can go here and remove one step, right? And you can go here and check that what was changed, So, and then you should understand it, if this descriptions is correlated to the implementation or no. If yes, so you can synchronize it. So let me just add another step, right? And then you can check, for example, that one step is added. So that is used usually if your application is changed, manual QA can come and easily can quickly add one step, right? Then your automated test cases is marked as out of sync. You can filter these test cases, go inside and check what exactly was changed. So if it was changed, then you need to go and to your implementation, implement and synchronize again, right? And then you can just mark this as synchronized. And one interesting feature that we have, so it's branches. So if you have the manual test cases or automation test cases, and you would like to work simultaneously on the same project, you can create the kind of the branch you're working on the feature 1, 2, 3, right? So, and then another 2 person also working on this. So you can create the different branches, which is applied only on the test management system. So here you may go and to do some changes to your test automation. For example, here you understand that is redundant test case, so it should be deleted. So one test case also from the manual side also should be deleted. For example, here you understand that you would need to add some tags. For example, you can easily mark 4 test cases as a smoke test cases, something like this, and you would like to add new tests, something like this, right? So we will preview these changes. And everything will be applied in 1 second, and you may see this the label stated that you have this kind of special branch where everything is done. You can go inside of it and you may see, okay, everything is tracked and changed, you know, so in this branch. So if you will understand that, okay, it's done in wrong way, you just can delete these changes and no impact to your stable version of your test cases. So if you would like to merge, so you can just merge this result to the stable branch, and nothing is appeared here. So as you may see, so nothing is appeared. So a lot of different features we have, you know, in our mind. I guess we don't have time, so let me just finish my presentation. So in fact, we do have a lot of different features, a lot, I would say. You can check it on our website. So we have on a Testomatio, you can go by yourself and create the same project. You can play around, you can schedule a demo, so we can help you to adopt your project to make the beautiful process with test management system, where you have the single workspace for your manual test cases and your test automation. And you can use, if you're beginner to the test automation, you can use our example projects. So to see how it's look like, and maybe it will be starting point to start the test automation in your project if you are not doing this already. So I would like to give some kind of giveaway. So if you have the questions, feel free to ask any questions here in chat, or lately in under the video in the comments. So I will go through the kind of the best 3 questions. I will contact this person then, and we are ready to provide 6 months pro plan as giveaway for these 3 person, so they can use the Testomat without limitation, I would say. So as a last word, so shift left approach, so it intends to create the, you know, so the automation as integral part. I would like to wish you that test automation should be everywhere on your daily routines, and it should help you a lot, right? It's not silver bullet. Definitely there is context-driven testing, exploratory testing, all other manual testing activities, you know, but the manual testing and test automation should work together with a beneficial, you know, effect, with a synergy effect by the introduction of this test management system. So here, yeah, if you would like to ask any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, or you can add yourself and link with me through the LinkedIn and ask the question there. Thank you very much. I guess that's all from my side.
Thank you very much, Michael. It was very nice. Now let's check some questions in YouTube comments, if you have time.
Yep.
Okay. The first question relates to test case migration, I guess. If one day I want to move the tests I wrote to another platform, how will I do it?
Okay, so you mean from the some test management system to our, or from our test management system to other?
I think from another.
Okay, from another. Okay, so in this case, from another, we have the import stuff. The import, we go and import from CSV, and here you may see you can come from TestRail, Zephyr, QTest, or any other. I would say that you can request and go to the live chat or to the Slack and ask us to provide you some kind of importer, right, to the test management. It's not a problem.
Okay, thank you. Another question. How do you provide support when I have problems with the system?
Okay. Yeah. So a few ways. So when you're working with your projects, so you have the help button here, right? On the help button. So there are a few ways. So the first one is documentation. We have a lot of documents already in place. So that's the first. The next one is live chat. So if you click on it, so you will have a live chat appeared, right? And also we have a Slack. So if you're, so we have different companies, big companies that is working with Testomat. We are creating the private channel for each of the companies. So everyone who is interested with collaborating with us. So we are creating the private channels, and we, from our side, we are adding developers and QAs. So, and the management stuff. So all team there, and we are discussing with the clients all the issues, requests, and all other issues. So, but anyway, so if you would like to send us just email, it's also fine.
Okay, thank you. The last question is related about Jira. We use a lot in Turkey. Is it possible to integration with Jira, and is it easy?
Can you please repeat again the question, because it was some interruption?
Okay. Is Jira integration is possible, and is it easy?
Yeah, yeah. So as I said and already showed, so the Jira integration is available. It's out of the box. So what you would need to do, actually, you just go to the on explore more apps, right, on the Atlassian market. Then you would need to type Testomat. Then it will be installed on your side, and then if you have some specific user stories, then on this particular user story, you go to the three dots, and it will be kind of one tab will be open to you. So then you can link your test cases from Testomat, right, to the user story, and then you will have it, right? So yeah, we do have this out of the box Jira plugin with native support of the linking between the test management system and the Jira. And I would say it's really easy to use. It's really easy to use, because one of our clients, they really have big account of the, I would say 30, not I would say it's more 300 licenses. So they are actually 30% of this licenses they are using by the BA, actually. So the product owners and the business analysts, they're using the Jira a lot, and they, from another side, they have BDD scenarios. So here they just go and create and manage the acceptance criteria just in Jira. So it's just, I would say it's really easy to use.
Thank you very much. If you have any extra questions to Michael, you can comment us in YouTube link.